Hello, is this thing working this morning? Hello?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
110.
Alright, okay, you must talk to me. I'm not sure if the thing's working or not even. You must talk to me. Alright, let's get to my other screen here quickly. To get to our DPE, check the brickwork. It's my brickwork. Right, can you see my our brickwork notes? There are more the calculations. Okay, one brick wall. Did we run through the one brick wall exercise here already? Or must we still run through it? Talk to me quickly. Did we run through this exercise already? Did I explain this exercise already, or must we still run through it? Who's talking to me? Can I assume then we've done the one brick wall and go straight to the 270 wall?
Yes, sir, we're going to do 270 brick wall.
Alright, thank you. That's all I'll make 100% sure of. Right, so now we're getting to our 270 brick wall. And our mixing of our mortar is exactly as we did it before. There's nothing new to that. Now when we do our bricklaying, in our 270 wall, we've got 2 half brick skins. If it's a standard imperial brick, it means I've got 104 bricks at my rate. I add my wastage factor to it. Then my mortar is 0.035. And in this example, the mortar quality is based on individual brick count times 104. If you use your half brick skin times 2, you will have 0.034 for your mortar quantity. It depends on how you calculated that. Do your application waste. So all up to this point is very simple. And as before. Now it gets slightly more interesting in that we allow 4 wire ties per square meter as your standard spec, if nothing else is specified. You make a provision for 4 wire ties to a square meter of brickwork at whatever rate was given for your wire ties. So that's the first thing that's different between a cavity wall. You must make provision for your wire ties. There is no separate labor for your wire ties because your wire ties get put in as the bricklayers do the brickwork. So there's no separate or special labor component to it. Then our labor itself is still one artisan, one general labor assisting him. We now require 104 bricks, and my artisan can do 80 bricks in an hour. So therefore my labor constant is 104 over 80, gives me 1.3 hours as his labor constant. So therefore he takes 1.3 hours. Now here comes the other change, in that when we allow for our 1.5 laborers, so it's 1.3 times 1.5, and 1.3 times 1.5 will give me 1.95. Can you see there at my cursor? And then we must allow, because what happens when you're building a cavity wall? Your cavity wall the cavity must be cleaned every day as you build. So for this, we're allowing a labor constant of 0.08 hours per square meter. And that is the additional labor it will take to clean the cavity as we go along. So therefore we allow that additional labor there as well. So that's 2.03 hours is your labor hours. You can give this as a line item. You can give your labor assisting in the building as 1.95 and extend that. And then you say cleaning cavities 0.8 hours. And that. I actually prefer to do it that way. And then another thing we add 5% of total labor of cost for actually cleaning eyes. The notes talk here about per pinch. It's actually not correct. Because when you build a cavity wall, in your outside skin, on the first course above DPC level, you actually leave out every fourth or fifth brick. You leave it out. And then as you clean your cavities, you wash your mortar, water, and rubbish out through these openings. You call them cleaning eyes. So at the end, when the wall is finished and roof is in place and the window sills is done and you can't get any more rubbish in your cavity, then the mason must come around. He must actually come and put in these missing bricks. And then the wall can get plastered or whatever must happen to the wall. So therefore, we allow 5% of total labor for this replacing of this missing bricks. And it's 5% of your total labor there that you actually allow for that. So on a cavity wall, we actually have a couple of additional items that we must make provision for, that we must when we actually do the calculation. And then the rest, we get our net cost, we add overheads, we add profit, we get to a rate. Right, any questions on this? No questions?
Sir,
right, yeah.
Sir, could you just repeat why you leave fifth brick out?
That is basic standard building practice when you build a 270 cavity wall. On the outside skin, you leave on the first course above DPC level. You leave every fourth or fifth brick out, and that is to provide, you call it a cleaning eye. And that is where because proper building practices, at the end of the day, you must wash your mortar droppings from the cavity. So that means you put a hose pipe in it and you actually wash the mortar droppings out. And then you wash that out at these cleaning eyes. And you keep them there until you actually finish the wall, the roof is in place, beam filling is done, window sills is done, everything is done. And then you give your cavities a final clean, and then you actually replace these missing bricks. The mason must come around and mortar them in, and then the wall must be plastered, or whatever must be done to the wall gets done to it.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Right, anything else? But it's only on the outside skin, and it's only in the first course above DPC level on a cavity wall. Any other questions? Whose mic is on?
Sir, my question is going back to materials. Eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do we have but 1,000?
That's the way it's given. We just get back to that screen quickly there. Where screen? Right. Can you see the brickwork example?
No, sir.
Not. Okay. Just share this again because this thing is never consistent here. Can we just do this there and hey, go away. I share it there. I go there and there. Now you should be able to see the brickwork one. Can you see the brickwork example now? Can you see the brickwork example now?
Sir.
Right. So you're asking me here, why is the unit there per 1,000?
Yes, sir.
So because it is, you can give it, I prefer it each. So if I do it my way, I prefer the unit will be each. That will be 104, and my rate will be R1.92. Because the rate is given per 1,000 bricks. My bricks is costing me R1,920 per 1,000.
Okay.
Because there it shows me it's per 1,000. So therefore I use 0.104 of 1,000 bricks.
Okay, sir.
Your answer, just contest your answer there quickly. If you make your quantity 104 and you make your rate for your bricks R1.92, what will happen to your answer? Just go and test that quickly. Tell me what happens to your answer. But did you test that answer? What happens to the answer if you do 104 at R1.92? What happens to your answer?
Same answer.
Exactly the same answer, yes. But I prefer to go that route. It's just an easier way for me to actually do it. I just find it easier. Right. So let's get to our other example now. Quickly, our other exercise. Let's get out of here. Go to my other thing here quickly. My image mates that working. Come on. All right. You'll be able to see a section of my laptop now. Is that right? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Right. Move this thing out of the way here quickly. Alright, so when we look at exercise number 2, and we must now do our 250mm wall, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's my 250mm wall. Right, so what do they tell me about my 250mm wall? We now go back to our previous preliminary calculations. And what's my cost of my mortar? My mortar costing me R855 and 23 cents, and that's as before. You concur on that? Then my mortar quantity, is 0.044 cubic meters per meter square. You agree with that? All right. So that's my preliminary calculations that we did before. Pull that in. So now I must start with my actual calculation. Am I correct when I say that? So now we start with our 250mm wall. And we first go with our stock bricks. And is number of bricks, and how many bricks do we going to use? 104 as my previous calculation. And what was my rate for my bricks that we calculated before? I've got my bricks plus a delivery fee. I've got 1780 per thousand and 150 delivery. So it's for 500, so it's 300 rand per thousand. So my bricks will cost me 2 rand and 8 cents each. Am I correct when I say that?
Yes, sir.
Right, so 104 times 208. 104 times 2.08 equals 21632. You concur on my answer?
Yes, sir.
Good. Waste is 10%. So that is 2 rand and 16 cents is my waste. Then my mortar. What was my mortar that we calculated for this before? My mortar is 0.044. You concur on that?
Isn't the waste 21 rand and 63 cents?
Yes, I took 1%. Yes, I took 1%. You're right. Let me fix this quickly. At least somebody's halfway awake. 21 rand 63 cents. And this is what you must, this is a typical example now here where you must be careful. 10% is easy, but I took 1%. And there I've made a mistake. So if I make a mistake like that, I threw away 1 mark there and about 4 or 5 marks towards the end. I actually threw away for 1 careless mistake. Like that. So we must be very, very careful. Then what's my rate? Is 8.55. 23. 0.44. 0.044 times 855.23. 37.63. You concur on that answer?
Yes, sir.
And now the waste is 3 rand and 76 cents. You still happy with that? Now my labor 1 plus 1.5. So my guy's doing 800 bricks in 8 hours. See at the bottom. 800 bricks in 8 hours. So that means my 800 divided by 104 to get to square meters is 800, 104. So my guy will do 7.69 square meters in a day, 7.69 square meters in a day. Now we look at our labor constant, total time, it's a bit here, total time over total production. What's my total time? Is 8 hours. My total production is my 7.69 square meters. And that gives me for my artisan hours divided 0.69 equals 1.04. You concur on my artisan hours there?
Yes, sir.
You all happy? 04 hours. And the artisan is earning 54 rand an hour. 1.04 times 54. Diameter is 1.04 times 1.5 hours. 1.04 times 1.5 equals 1.56. 1.56. And what's my laborer's hourly rate? It's 29 rand an hour. Am I correct? Am I correct when I say a laborer earns 29 rand an hour? Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
1.56 times 29 equals 45.24. Then, what else must I do? Let's now start adding this one together. My material is 216.32 plus 21.63, 37.63, 3.76, 56.16, and 45.24 equal 380.74. Who concurs with my answer? Who concurs with my answer? You concur with that answer?
Yes, sir.
380.74. Thank you very much. So then we can add our overheads. And what's our overheads here? Overhead is 15% times 0.15. 77 plus equal is 437.85. And profit is 10%. Yeah. 13%. I'm working. Then you should from memory. Let's fix it. Let me see what. Let me check on that paper says. I'm working it from memory. You're actually right. Average is 13%. 13%. Sorry about that. Let's fix that. 380.74. 380.74 times 0.13 equals 49.49. 49, actually 50 plus equals 430, and 24 cents. And profit is 10%. Yeah, I'm checking. 10% times 0.1 equals 43.02 plus equals 473 and 26 cents. And that's the right, excluding VAT. Right, you concur on that answer? Right, anybody else? Happiness questions? Right, any more questions on this one? Right, happiness, going once, going twice. Assume you're all happy if there's no questions on this one. Now, the 270 cavity wall. But now you're going to be on your own. And you're going to start doing this 270 cavity wall. But you're going to be on your own. You must think of it now. So there's no more side wheels. You must now ride a bicycle yourself. So no more somebody doing the example for you. So that means I'm going to leave you on your own to do your exercise, the 270 cavity wall. I will also load up later today. I'll load up for you some more examples of 110 and 250 and 270 cavity walls for exercises. And then I see you guys on Monday. We'll run through the 270 cavity wall. But you need to do this, start doing them yourself and not depend on me to actually guide you. It's easy when somebody do them, to bring them with you, but to do them on your own, that's a different ball game. And this is what you must start practicing now to get used to that. So, questions? Here's your last chance.
Sir.
Yes?
Do we find the extra videos in the chat?
What extra videos?
Recorded videos.